Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
The Grand Canyon, a great natural landmark, home here in Arizona. Diamondbacks baseball brought to you by Sanderson Ford, another natural wonder, Mount 500. And today inside Chase Field, the D-backs take their 12th shot at climbing that magic mountain and getting back to 500 for the first time since late April. It's the Diamondbacks and the Rockies on Fox Sports Arizona. And good afternoon from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. Don't touch that dial. We've got World Cup fever. It's a big sports day here. The Diamondbacks go for the 4-game sweep of the Rockies on Fox Sports Arizona. And then later today on your local Fox station, the U.S. women's soccer team takes on Japan in the World Cup final. But Bob, for now we're focused on the D-backs and the Rockies, and that means a rematch for Ruby versus Colorado.
Yeah, and hopefully more of the same we saw in Colorado on that last road trip. Ruby De La Rosa was outstanding. He was perfect through 3 innings. The Rockies only had multiple runners on in 1 inning, and he got a double play to get out of that jam. Had everything working well, pounding the bottom of the strike zone, and certainly the numbers would say he was on his game, and the eye test would tell you the same thing.
Well, these numbers show you, Bob, he's been on the top of his game now for his last 4 starts. Look at this.
Yeah, and that's why you don't pay a lot of attention to win-loss records for pitchers, because Ruby actually pitched well enough to win all 4 of those ball games, but the record of 2-0, the ERA just under 1.5.
Later today on your local Fox affiliate, it's Team USA versus Japan in the World Cup final. Right now here on Fox Sports Arizona, it's your D-backs going for the 4-game sweep. Can they get to the top of Mount 500? D-backs hosting Diamond Days experience for 1,200 guests from Arizona military bases and 8 military members and their kids taking the field with the Diamondbacks courtesy of Subway. Before our ball game today, we honor America, the voice of Chase Field, Mr. Chuck Drago.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. Presenting our colors today, please welcome the Arizona Army National Guard Honor Guard. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies invite you to join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by Petty Officer Stephen Powell from the U.S. Navy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we'd hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we'd watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
Rockies, the last meeting between these two NL West teams until the end of August. And the D-backs today going for the 4-game sweep of the series and making their 12th attempt to climb the summit of Mount 500. Is today the day they reach that mountaintop for the first time since April 24th, when they were 8-8, 0-11 since then when attempting to get back to level par for the year. Take on Jorge De La Rosa and the Rockies. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs is Ruby De La Rosa. His catcher today, Wellington Castillo. We asked Chip Hale exactly why.
Castillo's able to settle him down, which is we tried. We sent Mike out. I go out. Tuffy, whoever was catching him, Jordan, and just Castillo's been the one guy that's been able to really calm him down. So that's been very important.
The numbers on Ruby: 1 loss in his last 11 starts. Pitched very well against these Rockies at Coors Field 2 starts ago.
It's been a big turnaround for the Diamondbacks starting pitching, and Ruby's been a big part of that since June 10th. Diamondback starters are 13-9 with an ERA just a tick over 4, which is a huge improvement from what we saw earlier this season. As I mentioned, Ruby a big part of that, featuring that 4-seam fastball in the mid to upper 90s, a really good changeup. His sliders kind of hit or miss, sometimes very good, sometimes not so much. We'll keep an eye on it today.
Diamondbacks have won 8 of 11 versus the Rockies this year, including 5 of 6 here at Chase Field, and this afternoon going to the 4-game sweep. Charlie Blackmon leads it off for Colorado. The crew chief, Fielden Culbreth, is our plate umpire.
Diamondbacks pitching has really throttled this Rockies offense so far in the first 3 games of this series. The Rockies have only scored in 4 of the 27 innings played so far.
Lines it to right center field. Osmani Tomas is there. Charlie Blackmon has a leadoff single. Take a look at the lineup for Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies.
Number 9.
Charlie Blackmon once again at the top, out in center field. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. Carlos Gonzalez back in the lineup in right field. Michael McHenry doing the catching today with Ben Paulson at first base. Brandon Barnes in left field. Daniel Descalso getting the start for Nolan Arenado at third base. And Jorge De La Rosa, the lefty, on the mound.
Here is the second baseman, DJ LeMahieu. Watch out for Blackmon. 21 stolen bases over there at first.
Yeah, Blackmon is one of those aggressive base runners, base stealers, like we've seen a lot of the Diamondbacks do when they take off as the pitcher's just standing on the rubber, trusting that he's going to deliver that pitch to home plate. We've seen Blackmon do that a couple times this year as well.
That's in there for a strike. 0-1. LeMahieu batting at even 300 with 4 home runs. And coming off a 3-hit night last night, his only hits in the series. Ruby's ahead 0-2.
Good slider. That's a good sign early in the game if he's got that pitch working. Perfectly located. Out the third of the plate, sweeping out of the zone. Gets a very defensive swing that time from DJ LeMahieu.
That slider tend to come and go for Ruby?
It seems to, yeah. When he's feeling it, it's a really valuable weapon for him, but it's the pitch that he's most likely to make a mistake with.
By a diving Nick Ahmed into center. Blackmon charging into third. And they're on the corners with nobody out for Tulowitzki.
Just out of the reach of Nick Ahmed up the middle of the field. There's a slider. That one hanging up over the outside part of the plate. And LeMahieu takes it back up the middle of the field. Yeah, it's just it's inconsistent to the point where he'll throw a couple of really good ones like we saw him throw to LeMahieu in that sequence, and then some really bad ones like the last one. He just kind of hung there, didn't take the break.
So Blackmon at third, LeMahieu at first. Nobody out, and here's Tulo. 4th in the league in hitting at .320. He's got 8 home runs. Drives it to left. And way out Tulowitzki. That's his 9th, and it's 3-0 Colorado. th home run given up this year by Ruby De La Rosa. And Tulowitzki extends his hitting streak. It's now up to 18 games.
A slider up and out over the plate to DJ LeMahieu, and does the same thing right here to a home run hitter. And Troy Tulowitzki doesn't miss hanging sliders on the inside part of the plate. Quick 3-0 lead for the Rockies.
Two singles and a homer make it 3-zip. 100 miles an hour off the bat of Tulo, his 9th of the year. And here's Carlos Gonzalez.
I'm not sure exactly what the game plan was against this Rockies offense today, but I believe I'd scrap the slider for a few hitters.
Cargo 237 and 10 homers. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. They overload the right-hand side. This is very uncharacteristic of what we've seen from Ruby De La Rosa lately. As we told you at the top of the broadcast, Ruby in his last 4 starts, outstanding. 2-0 with a 1.30 ERA. Behind on Gonzalez, 3-0. Michael McHenry getting the start behind the plate is on deck. 3-1 pitch. Another base hit for the Rockies. The first 4 Colorado hitters have base hits against Ruby De La Rosa. Mike Harkey.
Well, we talked about the inconsistency of the Ruby De La Rosa slider. Here's a good one that he threw to DJ LeMahieu. Good location, good movement down low and away. Then he leaves one up and out over the plate. Gets banged back up the middle of the field. And then this hanging slider on the inside part of the plate. We talked about it at the top of the show. It's just not quite there for him consistently yet. You really hate to get beat with your 3rd best pitch, which is what has happened so far up to this point in the ballgame.
Pitched very well against the Rockies 2 starts ago. 7 innings, only 1 run on 5 hits for Ruby. Took his 2nd straight no decision. His last time out, that was against the Dodgers here last Tuesday. 7 strikeouts in 5 2/3. Gave up just 2 runs. He's down 3-0 and has yet to retire a batter. And here's the catcher, Michael McHenry. Just over 230 with 3 home runs. Well, you recall 2 nights ago the Rockies put up a 3 spot in the top of the 1st against Chase Anderson. Diamondbacks won that ball game 4-3. Another base hit for Colorado. McHenry slaps it the other way into right. 5 batters, 5 base hits for the Rockies.
Partner, I don't know if there's an easy way to explain this next graphic, but it's true. It's true. When one game under 500 this season, going back to April 24th, the last time the Diamondbacks were at 500, they're 0-11. Team batting average just over 200. The team ERA over 6.5, and 24 homers allowed in those 11 ball games.
That is the climb of Mount 500.
That's it.
Josh Colmenter starts to get loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen.
Slippery slope.
Ben Paulson will start at first base today.
Well, the good news is the Diamondbacks have come from behind 16 times this season. They're going to have to do that again today.
Has it become a thing?
I heard you talking on Snake Talk about that last night, and I think it maybe has. At least for us it has, for sure.
It's not a thing until it becomes a thing, and then it's a thing. Another base hit for the Rockies. They will wave Cargo. The throw from Peralta is cut off, and it's 4-0 Colorado. The first 6 hitters have reached with base hits against Ruby.
The entire Rockies offense, their approach seems to be to let the ball get deep in the hitting zone. We've seen a couple hit to the opposite field, a couple hit very hard to the pull field. Much less aggressive swings. They're very aggressive early in the count, but they're not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, just trying to make solid contact against De La Rosa.
4 runs on 6 hits, and De La Rosa has yet to retire a batter. Here's Brandon Barnes. Barnes 276 and 1 homer. He is 2 for 10 in the series. Well, if Wellington Castillo is the perfect fit behind the plate for Ruby De La Rosa, as Chip Hale said at the top of our show, as a battery mate, the time is now for him to calm Ruby down, as it were, help him reset the compass.
If you're going to be the Ruby whisperer, this is the kind of situation you need to calm him down, get him through this inning, keep the damage right where it is.
And Castillo will tell you the same thing. He says that's his job, to help Ruby however he can and get him on the same page, and mostly get him to believe in his stuff, which at times can be overpowering. Not today, however. Down 4-0. 2-1 to Barnes. De La Rosa has it. On it for 1. They get the double play. 2 big outs right there for Ruby, and McHenry's in at third.
We've seen Ruby with this little lob toss when throwing to first base. Does the same thing here to second. Fortunately, Nick Ahmed times his arrival at second base so he can catch that ball with his left foot on the bag and then complete the throw on to first for the double play.
The 1-6-3, 2 outs now. Ruby at 20 pitches. Here's Daniel Descalso with McHenry, the catcher, at third. As Bob noted in our open, no Nolan Arenado today. A day off. Descalso playing third base. 206 and 2 homers.
Nolan Arenado just did not look like himself the first 3 games of this series. He just looked out of sync with the game.
On the ground to Owens, and the first inning ends for Ruby De La Rosa, but it's 4-0 Rockies. Ruby De La Rosa reached with base hits, including a Tulowitzki 3-run homer. Now it's Jorge De La Rosa's turn. He is your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for Colorado. Here's Diamondbacks shortstop Nick Ahmed.
He's a good pitcher. We just need to see him up. He's got a good changeup that he likes to keep down in the zone, and a cutter he tries to throw inside the righties. So we're going to look for something up out over the plate, and hopefully he leaves it out there and gets him early and often.
The numbers on Jorge De La Rosa. He's lost just once in his last 9 starts. He's walked at least 3 batters in a ball game in 8 of his 12 starts this year. The walk rate this year, the highest it's been in 9 seasons, and he has never won in this ballpark.
I think that was great advice from Nick Ahmed. Make him get the ball up. He throws that 2-seamer down in the zone. He's got a split finger he uses for a changeup that also has some downward movement. He'll try to cut the ball in on the righties. Doesn't really change speeds an awful lot. So see that sinker, see that changeup, make him get it up.
Now you may recall, D-backs fans, 2 starts ago we saw Jorge De La Rosa, have to leave the ball game with a cut on the middle finger of his left hand. That's his pitching hand, and it's been an ongoing problem all season long, so keep an eye out for that. Nick Ahmed will lead it off. Diamondbacks trying to climb Mount 500, and a mountain to climb here, down 4-0. Nick at 237 and 6 home runs.
De La Rosa with that very distinctive delivery out of the windup. Hits the pause button a couple of different times. All in an attempt to throw off the timing of the hitter at the plate. Of course, they've seen De La Rosa enough to know what he's going to try to do out there on the mound.
There's a strike, 1-1.
He pauses about halfway up on his leg kick, stops ever so slightly, and then continues on with his delivery.
I think that got both Michael McHenry and Fielding Culbreth back there.
The sound of it, I got more of Fielding Culbreth. Just kind of a glancing blow off the top of the left shoulder, but right in the middle of the heart to Fielding Culbreth. He shakes it off quickly, said, let's play ball.
Nick 2 for 9 with a walk in the series. He scored twice. Waits on that one, but lifts it a high to short right field for Cargo. A lineup for Chip Hales, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Nick Ahmed finds himself once again at the top of the order, playing shortstop. A.J. Pollock in center field. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Yasmani Tomas out in right field. Wellington Castillo behind the plate. Aaron Hill gets to start at third base today with David Peralta in left. Chris Owings at second, and Ruby De La Rosa on the mound.
The Josh Colmenter crew out at the RamTrucks.com pool area today. I understand that Josh's life coach is among the brethren out there. Maybe he's holding a seminar or something. 0-1 to A.J. Pollock, 304 in 10 home runs. This is Josh's life coach, Chris, on the right. He's wearing his All-America colors. Ready for the Women's World Cup final later today on Fox. He looks like a life coach. I would turn my life over to that guy. Wouldn't you?
I'll let you know.
1-1. High fly ball, shallow center. LeMahieu drifting out there. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, it's funny because of the stress involved in this game, and every day you have to go back out and perform again, and your results are in the newspaper and on the TV every night when you get home, and everybody has somebody they rely on, whether it's their wife or their mom or dad or best friend, somebody they can go to when things get tough. And if Josh has found somebody that gives him some peace of mind in those situations, then I'm all for it.
Well, Chris looks very reliable. Strike 1 to Goldie. The .349 batting average leads the National League. He's 2 behind Nolan Arenado for the RBI lead. And as we await the results of the All-Star voting, the starters will be announced later today. Fingers crossed for Goldie. And of course, all the other All-Stars will be announced later this week.
Well, if Goldie isn't the starting first baseman for the National League, there needs to be a recount, because he was leading by a ton of votes over Adrian Gonzalez.
So yeah, that list of the All-Star starters gets released later today. Hopefully Goldie's on it. It's a nice shot here at the ballpark. Oh, hold on.
How do you work this thing?
You got it on video. 1 and 2. Fixing a batting glove.
Repairing a batting glove.
Ken Crenshaw. It's a very special batting glove.
What is it, a ball marker on the strap of the glove, like a golf glove?
It looks like it, doesn't it? I left it back on the 14th green. 2 and 2. Maybe Nate has an answer. Goldie strikes out. So Jorge De La Rosa staked to a 4-0 lead. Works a 1-2-3 first. Diamondbacks trail at 4-zip. FIFA Women's World Cup final is here, and it's a rematch 4 years in the making. Alex Morgan and Team USA take on defending champion Japan. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock today on your local Fox station and is streaming live on Fox Sports Go. USA. Bob Brenly has World Cup fever. He insisted we wear our Team USA jerseys for the Open, and they look good. They got your number 15 on them, which is a nice coincidence. Jorge De La Rosa leads it off. First 6 batters in the Rockies inning. An inning ago had base hits, including a 3-run homer by Troy Tulowitzki. 5 singles and a home run, 4-0 Colorado, before Ruby De La Rosa recorded an out. He's got his first strikeout. not something we've seen a lot of from Ruby.
We haven't seen Ruby make a lot of mistakes early in the ball game. We mentioned his last start against the Rockies. He was perfect through 3 innings, didn't give up his first hit until the leadoff batter in the 4th. And really only had 1 inning in that ball game where they had multiple runners and looked like he was in some trouble, but got a big double play to get out of that jam. Otherwise, they weren't even making solid contact against him in Colorado.
Charlie Blackmon singled and scored to lead off the ball game. The 6 hits in a row to start the game. Actually not a Rockies record. They had 7 in a row last year to begin a ball game, September 17th against the Dodgers. That was an 8-run Colorado first. First 6 reached here today to make it 4-zip. 2-1 to Blackmon, who's got 4 hits in the series. Up Goldie at first. He can't find it. Recovers in time, and they get him as De La Rosa covers the bag. Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire, says they got him. Goldie for a moment couldn't find the baseball. Tom Reynolds agrees they got him in time.
Yeah, big 2-hopper that hit Goldie right in the middle of the mitt, dropped to the ground. He kicked it before he picked it up. Makes a perfect throw on to De La Rosa. That's where you slow the game down. Very easy to panic right here. But Goldie keeps his feet moving, keeps his head on the baseball, and makes a perfect throw to De La Rosa for the out.
Nice job by Ruby to hustle over there. 2 down for DJ LeMahieu. A single and a run scored his first time up.
Fans are proud to say that today's broadcast of Diamondbacks baseball is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. We welcome you and we thank you for your service on this Independence Day weekend.
And today, Military Appreciation Day at Chase Field. Military members got 50% off tickets with their military IDs today. Diamondbacks hosting Diamond Days experience for 1,200 guests from Arizona military bases. That's provided by Fry's and Randy Johnson, who's a proud supporter of USO. And military members and their kids taking the field with the Diamondbacks before the ball game, courtesy of Subway. And after the ball game, military members and their little ones will be running the bases, all to benefit Phoenix Children's Hospital. So a great day here at the ballpark.
It's been a great weekend here at Chase Field. The fans have really been into the games. Big crowd last night, over 42,000 here on the 4th of July.
97 right by him, so De La Rosa bounces back with a 1-2-3 second. Diamondbacks down 4-0. up. And Bob, you mentioned it a moment ago. What a night it was here, 42,000 plus. And after the ball game, courtesy of Gila River Casinos, an amazing fireworks show here at the ballpark.
Looks like something you'd see over the Hudson River in New York on the 4th of July. Outstanding fireworks show.
Diamondbacks really went all out this year, filling the Phoenix skyline with 4th of July fireworks. It was a great show. Went on just like that for, well, close to 30 minutes. It was a capper to a terrific evening here on Independence Day at Chase Field. Yasmani Tomas leads off the bottom of the second and drives it out to right center field. We're back and gone. Fireworks in the pool. The 5th for Tomas, and it's 4-1.
Oh, that ball was clobbered. Carlos Gonzalez in right field barely moved. Oh, it was hit out there to the deep part of the park in right center field. Blackman gave it a little bit of an effort. Gonzo eventually gets to the spot, but that ball's rattling around the RamTrucks.com pool area by the time they get there.
I believe that Chris, Josh Colementer's life coach, had a shot at catching that one, but was otherwise engaged. Wellington Castillo. .208 for the season with 6 homers. You see his numbers there on the bottom with the Diamondbacks, including 4 of the 6 home runs. Two 2-0. So we'll see if the Diamondbacks can get to Jorge De La Rosa, chipping away at that 4-0 lead.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Three balls, no strikes. Four-pitch walk. Good start to the second inning for the Diamondbacks.
Third baseman, number 2, Aaron.
Brings up Aaron Hill. Aaron, 224 and 4 home runs. 1 for 5 in the series. Had a 2-run double Thursday night in the opener. Center field, Blackman. That's the first down in the bottom of the second. Well, another start for David Peralta against a left-hand pitcher, and he has made tremendous progress against lefties this year. For the season overall, David just under 270 and 7 homers.
2 for 21 through his first 21 games of the season against left-handed pitching, but in his last 9 games he's 8 for 19 with 3 extra base hits. And I think seeing more lefties has really helped his entire approach against righties and lefties.
There's a strike, 0-1.
There's just some things mechanically you have to do right as a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. You got to keep that front shoulder in there. You got to make sure that you're quick to the ball. Make sure you see the pitch.
That 256 number against lefties was 197 last season.
Yep. And just the comfort factor. You know, the more you see it, the less unusual it looks when you stand in that box and face a left-handed pitcher. You've done it recently and had success recently. You feel pretty confident about your chances today.
And it's really been the one last remaining hole in David's game. He drives it the other way, left center field. It's off the wall. Castillo had to hold up. He's in at third. They're going to stop him there. It's a double for Peralta. Another base hit against a left-hand pitcher.
Second baseman, number 16, Chris Owings.
This looks like a completely different animal against lefties recently. Once that door was opened and he realized that he can stay on that pitch, drive it to the opposite field if it's away from him, he has been a completely different hitter.
Well, a chance to get right back in this ball game right here. Chris Owings, second and third, one out. CO up over 240 now, 241 and a pair of homers. He's had a good series. 5 hits in 10 at bats.
And CO hiding down there in that 8th spot today. He's actually got real good numbers against Jorge De La Rosa. 4 for 7 with a homer and a triple. And while we have a moment here, McHenry making a trip to the mound. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the ball game today. Hey, keep eating, belly up. The burger, the pizza, the tacos has been working really good for the D-backs and me lately. So let's belly up again today and finish strong. The first half of the season technically has gone by. You got 5 more games on the road after today before the All-Star break, and you definitely want to finish strong. It's been a nice run through these 16 games against the National League West.
Game 82 today. Yanks that one foul. 1-1. Jim Reynolds going to come in, pardon me, Manny Gonzalez and Jim Reynolds going to come in and check with Field and Culbreth. He's not feeling well. Remember, he took that shot off the face mask earlier in the ball game, and Culbreth is doubled over here. Ken Crenshaw. He had been talking to Ken Crenshaw between the half innings about his equipment. There was something wrong with his mask. He took a foul ball near the chin area that hit off his mask earlier in the ball game.
We thought it was just an equipment issue with the throat guard that hangs down from the home plate umpire's mask, but he took the brunt of that high off the chest as well. So certainly hoping Field and Culbreth is all right.
Take another look. This was earlier in the ball game during Nick Ahmed's at bat to lead off the bottom of the first. Got him right there. And then after the Chris Owings foul ball a moment ago.
You can see he's a little unstable on his feet back there. And second base umpire Jim Reynolds noticed it immediately, or rather first base umpire Jim Reynolds came in from his position. Manny Gonzalez came in from second base. They recognized the warning signs there as Field and Culbreth obviously not 100%.
Now remember, the Diamondbacks not too long ago had the same thing happen in the ball game right here when Kerwin Danley took one off the head, and it kind of staggered him a bit, and he would eventually have to leave the game, and they worked the rest of that ball game with 3 umpires. There's Paul Schreiber talking with Chip Hale. Well, hopefully Field and Culbreth is able to continue as they check him out. We'll take a break. Back after this. brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. By Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. A delay at Chase Field while crew chief and home plate umpire Fieldon Culbreth is attended to. So a rest for Jorge De La Rosa, who's already given up a run, a Yasmani Tomas homer, and has the tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the second with one out. It gives us an opportunity to relive last night's experience with the return of Patrick Corbin from Tommy John surgery. And Bob, it would hard to imagine Patrick's night going any better than it did last night.
Oh, it was outstanding. I mean, if you really want to nitpick, you could say he did give up a couple of 0-2 base hits, but boy, other than that, he was outstanding. His slider was as good as we remembered.
And the Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 7-3. Patrick got the win, and afterwards he spoke with Jody Jackson.
I feel really good. The recovery's been awesome, and that was probably one of the hardest things, just throwing 80 pitches in a game and then coming back the next day and being able to throw again, and that's something I've been able to improve just by each outing.
So thumbs up after last night. They were excited in upstate New York, and Diamondback fans everywhere thrilled with what they saw from their young lefty ace.
Especially because they were able to pull the plug before he got to his pitch count. I think that was maybe in the back of the Diamondbacks' mind. What if it takes him 90 pitches to get through 3 innings? You know, then you have some big concerns moving forward, but they actually pulled the plug on Patrick after 5 innings. He'd only thrown 76 pitches, I believe, and was just totally in command.
Was on a 90-pitch limit. They say they will limit Patrick to under 100 pitches in every start this year. The question now for Jody Jackson is, Jody, when do we see Patrick Corbin next?
Well, Chip Hale said that it will be Saturday at Citi Field. As we know, Patrick's already pitched at Yankee Stadium and Citi Field before as well. So the family will be able to see Patrick. He's already gotten with Roger Riley, of course, tried to secure some tickets. So will be a lot of fun because the family, of course, was not out here last night. But he will be able to pitch in front of them on Saturday at Citi Field. And I believe, guys, Matt Harvey might be lined up for that start as well. So it should be quite a day.
That's one not to miss. Patrick Corbin up against the Dark Knight, Matt Harvey. And of course, Patrick pitched at Citi Field in the All-Star game 2 years ago and was the losing pitcher when the National League lost to the American League 3-0. Jorge De La Rosa will take some throws now. There's Manny Gonzalez, who's the only umpire out on the field right now. The rest of the crew, Jim Reynolds and Paul Schreiber, helping to attend to crew chief Fieldon Culbreth, who is still being checked out in the clubhouse. And so we have a delay here at the ballpark. And this leaves some time for some players to engage with the fans. How about Cargo taking some selfies out there and shaking some hands, signing some autographs? Nicely done. Got nothing else to do right now.
No, a little bit of downtime.
What does this do? I mean, for Jorge De La Rosa, Bob, I mean, he had a 1-2-3 first. Talk about a shutdown inning. After the Rockies' first 6 had base hits to start the ball game against Ruby De La Rosa, including a Troy Tulowitzki 3-run homer. It was 4-0 Colorado after a half inning. But here's Jorge De La Rosa now. He's in a mess. He's given up a home run to Tomas to lead off the inning. Castillo walked, Peralta doubled. Owings is up there with a 1-1 count, and the Diamondbacks have a threat going here.
Well, starting pitchers will tell you it's all about rhythm, and certainly this is disrupting the rhythm of this ball game. But the way this inning started for Jorge De La Rosa, I think he's probably welcoming this change in rhythm, because he was getting banged around pretty good after the home run, a 4-pitch walk to Wellington Castillo. Aaron Hill hit the ball well to center field. To Charlie Blackmon, that was caught, and then David Peralta with an opposite field double. So this might help Jorge De La Rosa reset.
We just had an umpire come out on the field. I believe it was Jim Reynolds, and signaled to Manny Gonzalez out on the mound. No, that's Paul Schreiber, pardon me. I guess that's 2 minutes. We'll find out. In any case, we're still in a delay here. A reminder now, fans, don't forget Coming up in about a week or so, baseball's best players, hopefully Paul Goldschmidt, will be gathering in Cincinnati for the Midsummer Classic. Home field advantage for the World Series is on the line. Coverage of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game begins July 14th at 4 o'clock Pacific time on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And of course, the All-Star starters will be announced later this afternoon. I think what's going to happen here is that Jim Reynolds, who was our first base umpire, will take over behind the plate, and they'll go with a 3-man crew here.
And we've talked about this in the past. The umpires are well versed in how to handle a game with a 3-man crew. They do it a lot throughout spring training, and happens occasionally during the regular season. They have their protocols and their mechanics when they're working a 3-man crew, who's going where. Actually, something to keep an eye on for the rest of this ball game, how the umpires communicate with each other now that they're a man down. They want to make sure that the right guys are in the right spot to make the appropriate calls.
And that is Jim Reynolds. He's got the gear on to take over the plate, and will go with a 3-man crew. This is the second time this season this has happened in a Diamondback game. Erwin Danley earlier this year had to leave a ball game while he was working the plate. And now the umpires will huddle together and review procedure here. So you've got Reynolds behind the plate, Gonzalez and Schreiber on the bases. And if we get information about the condition of Field and Culbreth, the crew chief, we will certainly pass that along to you. We hope he's okay, as he staggered there a bit right in the middle of this Chris Owings at bat. The Diamondbacks have a run in on the Tomas homer to lead off the inning. Castillo walked, Peralta doubled, so it's second and third. That's how the umpires will position themselves now on the bases, and that'll of course rotate depending on the situation. A ball and a strike to Chris Owings. Castillo at third, Peralta is at second. Descalso. 2 down. That brings up Ruby De La Rosa.
Ruby De La Rosa.
Ruby De La Rosa in the midst of a 3-game hitting streak. He's 3 for his last 8. We could use one right here.
Ball 1. Ruby 4 for 37 at the plate this year. Just knocked something through the infield. And with the way Peralta runs, you got a good chance to score 2. 2-0.
Pitchers as a unit this year have 20 base hits on the season. Still looking for that first extra base hit. Today's as good a day as any, Ruby.
There's a strike, 2-1. He'll take a walk here too. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Jim Reynolds having words now with Jorge De La Rosa, who didn't like that last call, was shaking his head, walking off the mound toward home plate. Jim Reynolds says, geez, I just got back here. Give me a chance to settle in.
He's hearing it from the Rocky dugout as well. 3 balls and a strike.
Nice swing.
I guess they're trying to get to Jim Reynolds early here.
Well, I mean, that does change. Every umpire is a little different with their strike zone for some unknown reason, but everybody's just a little bit different, and perhaps Jorge De La Rosa was kind of settling into the Field and Culbreth strike zone and now has to adjust.
Roll to shortstop, Tulowitzki. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 1 on the Tomas homer after 2. With the help of Yasmani Tomas's 5th of the year, Diamondbacks trailing 4-1. Executive Dean of the College of Security and Criminal Justice at the University of Phoenix, James Spider Marks, joins us. General Marks, over 30 years in the U.S. Army, where he attained the rank of Major General, holding every command position from infantry platoon leader to commanding general. That, sir, is quite a record.
Well, that was a wonderful 30 years. All that means is I've earned the wrinkles.
You had first pitch honors today too, right?
Yeah, and I didn't bounce it. I mean, that was the only guidance I got from all my children. I got a couple grandkids. Don't bounce it. Please not bounce it.
Here's a look. Here's how you do.
It's going to be tough.
Oh my God.
A nice little ball flip there before you made the pitch. Good low sinker right
down
that's
there.
Right.
He would have been swinging. He would have been swinging at air on that thing. You guys are too kind.
I have to ask you, the nickname, Spider, how did that come about?
That came when I was a high school kid. Tall, skinny, played every sport. You look like a spider. Then I went to West Point with some of my buddies, and it stuck. I got to tell you, I tried to shake that baby forever.
I guess at West Point it could have been worse than Spider.
Yeah, I know there are a couple adjectives that were dropped from that.
Troy Tulowitzki leads off the third. A 3-run homer in the first, part of that 4-run Rocky first, as the first 6 Colorado batters had base hits against Ruby De La Rosa. You ever seen anything like that?
Oh,
that was something, huh?
You guys aren't going to invite me back here after that.
Tulo bidding for one more here. Yasmani Tomas is there. That's one away. You, sir, have an amazing record. I'm just going through some of the material here. Senior intelligence officer in the Balkans in Korea. Senior intelligence officer in combat for the Coalition Land Forces Liberation of Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. I mean, it's been an amazing military career for you.
It has been. It was wonderful. It really was. I felt an incredible amount of pride and honor that I was able to do that. It really was great. You know, I came from a military family. My dad came from a military family, but it's not a given. And it was a choice I made, and it's a choice I'd do again, of course, knowing everything.
Well, we're thrilled to have you up here today on Military Appreciation Day. The Diamondbacks and everybody here has just done a terrific job.
Oh man, what a magnificent organization.
It's been great, hasn't it?
Oh, well, the Diamondbacks just did it first class.
The shift is on. Aaron Hill is there, and quickly 2 outs. Do you get to? I'm sorry, Bob. Do you get to many baseball games?
I haven't. No, not here in town. I need to. I got to kind of repeat this. Who do I need to suck up to?
Well, he's the guy. he has some pull around here.
You guys are too kind.
You know, we talk a lot in baseball now about sabermetrics and gathering information. The more information you can have, regardless of what it is you're attempting to do, the better your chances of succeeding.
It is all about gathering big data and then making some good decisions based on that data. You got it. You got it.
What was West Point like? I've always wondered.
Oh, my goodness. That was 4 years of it was a magnificent experience, but I got to tell you, man, I was ready to get commissioned and leave that place, and the only view I wanted of West Point was in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, well, so many moments, so many of the great goosebump moments in sports, come from the Army-Navy game. That's always been my impression.
Oh, you're exactly right, and unfortunately for West Point, we don't have a good track record over the past 13 years. It's been 13 years, and there's a correlation between that and our great young men and women in combat. I mean, it's awfully tough. But Army's going to get it back. Army's going to get it back. Navy, watch out.
Michael McHenry flies out. Tomas is there. James Spidermark, sir, thank you very much for your service, and thanks for joining us here today.
God bless you guys. Thanks for the invitation. You guys are wonderful. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very, very much, guys.
With you here at Chase Field. Now, Nick ran into some outs earlier in this series, both on Thursday and Friday night. So Chip Hale was asked about, is he slowing Nick down as far as his aggressiveness? He said, not really. We just want him to be, quote, more sure. I talked to Nick today, and he said, look, the information I get from Dave McKay is so good. He said he felt like it was a little bit of bad timing, bad luck. Part of it was, and Chip pointed this out, that Friday night starter Chris Russin had actually changed his move. So the information that Nick had was good, but he had made a good adjustment on his pickoff move, and so that was, I guess, the bad luck that Nick was talking about. But guys, he didn't seem that he was going to slow down at all on the bases, but maybe just try to be generally, as Chip said, more sure.
Hey, you don't want to curb that aggression, BB, the way the Diamondbacks have been running wild this year. Nick flied out his first time up, 0 for 1. I don't know what to make of Ruby De La Rosa, Bob. I mean, the first 6 Rockies hitters in the ball game reached base safely with base hits. They had 6 hits, and it was 4-0 before Ruby retired a batter. But ever since the final hit in that run there, Ben Paulson's single in the first, he's retired 8 straight. Feast or famine.
Well, there's that saying in the game of baseball, if you're going to get to a good pitcher, you have to get to him early before he settles in on the mound and gets that release point and starts to feel comfortable with the strike zone. And that was what the Rockies did today. They ambushed Ruby De La Rosa.
One and 2 on Nick Ahmed. That's out of play.
Fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Nick Over's last 15 games, batting better than 300. And another chance in the leadoff spot here this afternoon. Off the glove of Descalso at third, and Ahmed's aboard. They went way up there to try and get that one. There's something about that spot for the Rockies in this series.
I was going to say that player's a joke on the bench that Nolan Arenado has infected the position, and now nobody can play it successfully. Line drive by Nick Ahmed, and Descalso went up the ladder. He's not a very tall guy down there at third. Hits off the thumb of his glove, drops behind him, allowing Nick to reach. They'll give him an infield single on that.
Well, this is only Daniel Descalso's second start at third base this year. He's played only 7 innings over there all season long. He did play a lot of third in St. Louis 4 years ago, and that worked out okay. They won the World Series. Here's A.J. Pollock. A.J. popped up his first time. There's a strike, 0-1. A.J. having a big series at the Rockies' expense to this point. 6 hits in 16 at-bats, including a double and a home run. We want to again thank James Spider Marks, the Executive Dean, College of Security and Criminal Justice at the University of Phoenix. An amazing military service record. West Point graduate, 30 years in the U.S. Army. I'm glad we had our Team USA shirts on.
Absolutely. I was sitting at attention. I don't know if you noticed.
I was trying to. I mean, double play ball here to Whiskey LeMahieu. And they get both of them. Ahmed went in hard at second, but LeMahieu able to make the turn.
Boy, that's becoming a trait of the Diamondbacks runners, going in clean and hard at second base in an attempt to break up those double plays. And LeMahieu's already been flipped a couple times in this series, so he unloaded that ball quickly on one hop over there to Ben Paulson, who makes a nice play to complete the double play. Develop a reputation as a team that's going to go into second base, and they're going to go in there hard regardless of the game situation or the score, and guys start hearing footsteps.
Goldie struck out his first time, 0 for 1. The view from the press box here at Chase Field. There's Jack Magruder, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Jack. Working on his FoxSportsArizona.com column. Goldie ahead 2-0. Drives that down the right field line and foul. Goldie had an 0 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout last night. 4 hits, 3 bases on balls in the series.
Nick Ahmed go in hard. This was Goldie the other night against DJ LeMahieu. Flips him on the ground. The out was recorded at the second base, but obviously no chance to complete a double play when you're laying on your belly.
He strikes out against De La Rosa for the second time today. Through 3, Diamondbacks trail it 4-1.
Here on Friday, August 7th. Buy the Zombie Night special event package and get a ticket to the D-backs versus Reds game and a zombie survival duffel bag. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/events. You got to have one of those.
And one of those.
Yeah.
Actually, we already have.
There might be one of those in the zombie survival kit. You never know.
Well, if you're trapped by zombies, at least you'll have a snack. Ben Paulson was part of the first inning hit parade against Ruby De La Rosa. The first 6 Rockies batters to lead off the ball game had base hits. And it was 4-0 Colorado before De La Rosa retired a batter, but he's yet to give up a base hit since. He's retired 8 straight. And he's ahead of Paulson 0-2.
Well, the Rockies have now scored 11 runs in this 4-game series. 7 of the 11 have scored in the first inning. Friday night they scored 3 in the first, 4 in the first here today.
Yeah, D-backs were down 3-0 very early Friday night. 4-0 here today. Chase Anderson had a rough time of things that night, but then settled in nicely. Gave up just 3 hits and 6. Left side, Ahmed's over there. 1 away.
Left fielder Brandon
Brings up Brandon Barnes. Rockies today wrapping up a 10-day, 10-game road trip. They're 2-7 on the trip, and right now last in the NL West, 13 games under 500. And 11.5 behind the Dodgers for the division lead. Trying to end on a high note. There's a strike. To Goldie, 2 down. Daniel Descalso. Walt Weiss sitting Nolan Arenado today. That day off has been coming for a while, it seems. A lot of the Rockies media had been anticipating. And Arenado yesterday was asked about a possible day off today. He said no, he wanted no part of it, wants to play every day, doesn't like it, won't ask for days off, doesn't want them, would rather just play. But Walt Weiss apparently today said, tough, you're sitting. They do have an off day tomorrow.
Well, sometimes as a manager, you just have to be the voice of reason. You appreciate the intent. The guy wants to play every game. He wants to take every at bat. He wants to make every play down there at third base. But if your eyes tell you that he's slowed down a half a step or his bat has slowed down a little bit, it's up to you as the manager to pick the spot to sit him down. And with an off day tomorrow, this will give basically 2 off days in a row for Nolan Arenado, and I'm sure he'll be biting at the bit to get back in there.
Descalso in there at third in place of Arenado. Peralta at the track, and Ruby De La Rosa has set down 11 straight Rockies, but trails it 4-1. Sports proudly supports Folds of Honor and its mission of providing educational scholarships to families of military members who have been killed or disabled while serving our country. For more information, we encourage you to visit foxsportsupports.com.
That was Petty Officer Stephen Powell, who sang the anthem today. We've had him a couple of times this year. He does a tremendous job with the national anthem.
Yeah, he's got that deep voice. It just fills the ballpark here, especially with the roof and panels closed. On this July 5th in downtown Phoenix, Diamondbacks looking for the 4-game sweep of the Rockies, but they trail 4-1. As Yasmani Tomas leads off the bottom of the 4th against Jorge De La Rosa. Tomas homered his first at bat, his 5th this year. So he's got a homer, a pair of doubles in the series, and 4 RBIs. And getting the job done in the cleanup spot. Right behind Bryce Harper, who's hitting about .360 in the cleanup spot for the Washington Nationals. Matt Williams. Tomas Descalso gets that one. Ahmed hit one over his head earlier, but he leaps up and gets that one to take a base hit away from Tomas.
Tomas barreled it up twice today. A home run to right center field, and this time Descalso just up high enough to make the play. That's not fair. He got to practice on Nick Ahmed's line.
It's true. Or he just got taller. That's been known to happen. Wellington Castillo walked his first time. Welly over his last 14 games, just killing it. 300, 5 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. He had the night off last night.
.70-mile-per-hour breaking ball that time from De La Rosa. Wellington almost had time to readjust there.
Well, Walt Weiss says the Rockies like to hand Jorge the ball when they're on a tough run, and they have been on a tough run in this series. The end of a 10-game, 10-day road trip, and on the verge of getting swept. 50 pitches so far, 30 strikes.
One thing about this 10-day road trip for the Rockies, they stayed in the same hotel for the first 6 games of it, because they played San Francisco and then they played Oakland right after that. They just stayed in the same hotel for both of those series.
Wellington Castillo didn't like the call from Jim Reynolds. Remember, we're down to a 3-man crew. Field and Culbreth had to leave the ball game earlier.
Wellington checked the swing that time, but Jim Reynolds called it quickly.
He gets the strikeout. We showed you the averages of the cleanup hitters around the league. This was Bryce Harper yesterday on the 4th of July with his red, white, and blue bat. Stars and stripes, a home run against the Giants at Nats Park. And then this, watch this. I'd never seen this. He's standing at second base, and the center fielder, Gregor Blanco, sneaks in and attempts a pickoff.
I love it. I love it. Harper was leading off second base, had his back turned to the bag, talking to Brandon Crawford. It looked like a design play. Crawford distracting the runner, and then Blanco trying to sneak in behind. Perhaps a better throw from Petit. They might have had a play out there at second base, but if you watch on a daily basis, you'd be surprised how many times guys take their lead off the base and they don't know where the ball is.
Crawford was really a distraction. They were just standing there chatting, and Harper wandered off the bag, and suddenly here came Blanco from deep center field, sprinting in on a dead run to attempt the pickoff, and Harper just made it back in time. Aaron Hill, 1 for 6 in the series. That's pretty big. I mean, you're Bryce Harper. You're a Washington National playing in D.C. on the 4th of July. You got a fancy bat, stars and stripes, red, white, and blue. You walk up there and hit a homer.
How about that?
That's getting it done.
Well, he's been getting it done pretty much all season long.
That comes from the standpoint of getting it done. Some real veteranism right there. 1-2. Aaron Hill had to think about that for a minute. I heard that a veteran player one time say that. What do you think you're going to bring to the team this year? Well, I hope to bring a lot of veteranism.
Veteranism.
Ooh. Did it get him? Nope.
One thing some pitchers will talk about in their advance meeting against opposing hitters, some guys will say make him move his feet. Well, made Aaron move his feet that time. Back foot slider that very nearly hit him in the back foot.
Two pitch. Got him. 4 strikeouts for Jorge De La Rosa. He's got a 4-1 lead.
Inning 4-1 Rockies. De La Rosa, as he's walking off the mound after that last half inning, looking at that finger again. A couple of starts ago at Coors Field, he had to come out of his start because of an issue with a cut on his left hand, and then his catcher, Michael McHenry, watched the backswing and the left elbow of Michael McHenry. Ouch. Right on the point of that left elbow. I saw Aaron Hill kind of hanging around the plate for a moment. I thought he was asking Jim Reynolds, the plate umpire, whether he swung at a bad pitch or a good pitch, but I think he was just trying to check on Michael McHenry as he ran off the field.
Conversation there with Steve Foster, the pitching coach, Michael McHenry. So here is Jorge De La Rosa. And that cut is on his left middle finger. That's his throwing hand, of course, and it's been a chronic problem all season long. As we mentioned earlier, he had to leave his start against the Diamondbacks at Coors Field last time out. In the 6th inning, the cut opened up and he was just simply bleeding all over the baseball. It was kind of a mess. He was very good in his last start as he strikes out here. This was June 25th at Coors Field when the cut opened up. His last start was Tuesday at Oakland, 7 scoreless innings, just 4 hits. But he said in that ball game his hand was numb for most of the ball game. The cut had been nagging him the entire time. He was still able to pitch the ball game with that bad middle finger. But he said it was like grabbing an egg. But he just had to keep pitching, so he did.
Well, if he's starting to look at it right now, I can't believe it's going to get better with more pitches. So something to keep an eye on here moving forward. His day may be cut short once again.
Charlie Blackmon singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 2. Walt Weiss says he will push De La Rosa because, frankly, he needs to. And they did push that cut on the finger in Oakland last week. Here's a fly ball to left center field. Peralta's over there. Maybe De La Rosa. Boy, you'd never know he had that first inning. There's a look at it. The finger finally started to blow up on him, they said last week, and he had to come out after 7 innings. But the cut, they said last time, never did open up like it did in the start against the Diamondbacks. So they'll really have to watch out for that. 2 down now for DJ LeMahieu. 13 in a row set down by Ruby De La Rosa, which is remarkable after the first 6 Rockies reached safely with base hits. On the ground to Owens. Though Ruby De La Rosa, 14 straight Rockies have been set down in order. And here come the Diamondbacks. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. We'll see David Peralta coming up.
...1987. I was there when this happened. What a blockbuster deal. The Giants traded left-handed pitcher Keith Comstock, left-handed pitcher Mark Davis, our buddy Mark Grant from the San Diego Padres broadcast team, and Chris Brown to the Padres for Kevin Mitchell, Dave Dravecky, and Craig Lefferts.
I can tell you who got the better of that deal.
Well, now Mark Davis did win a Cy Young Award for the Padres as a closer, but that was a flurry of deals in that 1 week made by general manager Al Rosen. We picked up Rick Russell and Don Robinson from the Pirates in 2 separate deals. We got Dave Dravecky and Craig Lefferts and Kevin Mitchell. So we got a cleanup hitting third baseman, a setup lefty, and 3 starting pitchers in 3 separate deals, all within a week of each other.
You went all in.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Completely changed the complexion of the ball club, obviously, and I'd say we got the better of it.
Did you text Mud?
No, I didn't. I'm sure it's an anniversary he'd like to forget. Because Al Rosen was the general manager that made the comment about Mark Grant. He's got $1 million arm and a 5-cent brain.
That's where that came from?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense now.
But, you know, that was very early on in Mud's career. He was just a young, hard thrower, didn't know any better. He was going to go out there and just blaze on as hard as he could, as long as he could.
Now his brain is worth 15, 20 cents.
At least.
Big time. Peralta doubled his first time up. He's been torturing the Rockies all year long. He's ahead 3-1. Look at these numbers versus Colorado. 11 games coming into today. 371, 6 hits, 7 RBIs. He's scored 10 runs in 11 games so far against the Rockies.
Just the quality of at-bats and the quality of swings that David is getting against left-handed pitching is like night and day from what we saw last season.
Something just clicked.
Yeah, I mean, he's very relaxed. He's letting that ball get deep in the hitting zone. He's not jumping out there fooled by off-speed pitches.
Rockies have the shift on. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Called strike 3. David ready to take his base, but Jim Reynolds rings him up. The high strike call. Let's have a look.
Second baseman, Chris Owings.
It may have caught the top of the strike zone, but that's a high breaking ball. So the entire trip into the strike zone, it was well above the zone and just barely came down enough to catch the top of the strike zone. You see David saying wow on his way back to the bench.
Well, Jorge De La Rosa has now struck out 4 of the last 5 Diamondbacks he's faced. Here's Chris Owings with 1 away. There's a strike, 1-1. Heard Walt Weiss say this is the guy they like to hand the ball to when times are tough. He's their guy, their ace, their stopper. Notably for his ability to somehow pitch at Coors Field, but his splits are a little reversed this year. Most of his luck has come away from his home ballpark. Look at that, 4 road starts this year, an ERA of 1.37 and a 3-1 record. I usually say, well, a 6.81 ERA at home for a Rockies pitcher, what's the big deal? De La Rosa is the exception to that. He's usually a lot better. But so this year that success is translated out on the road with him.
Yeah, pitching at altitude, it changes everything. I remember when Hideo Nomo threw a no-hitter at Coors Field, everybody said give him the Cy Young right now. Anybody that can throw a no-hitter at Coors Field deserves some special nod at Cy Young time.
And he is their guy. They are 7-1 in Jorge De La Rosa's last 8 starts. Three and 2 on Owings. Another called strike 3 by Jim Reynolds. That's 4 straight strikeouts for Jorge De La Rosa, and another high strike call from the new plate umpire who took over for Field and Culbreth back there.
De La Rosa will take them. I guarantee you he'll take those high strikes, but that is definitely not where you want to throw a breaking ball across the top of the strike zone. If he keeps messing around up there, somebody's going to take him deep.
Struck out 4 in a row, 5 of his last 6. Here's Ruby De La Rosa. .70 pitches for Jorge De La Rosa, 42 strikes. So chopper in the hole, Descalso charges. We are through 5 at Chase Field. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-1.
The first beneficiary of the 3-run homer off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki, extending his hitting streak to 18 games. And since then, Ruby De La Rosa has been outstanding, retiring the last 14 in a row. And that first inning, he just wasn't commanding the ball as well as he'd like. He left a pitch up to DJ LeMahieu. He hit it into center. Another cement mixer slider that Troy Tulowitzki hit out of here for that 3-run homer. Gives up a base hit there to the hole through the left side. Not a bad pitch that time, but he's really settled in since then. Started to make some good pitches, hit his spots, better sequence of pitches.
Yeah, since that Paulson single in the first, he's retired 14 straight. And Tulowitzki, who had that 3-run homer in the first, will lead it off for the Rockies here in the 6th. Ruby at 63 pitches, 41 strikes. Well, the good news is he righted the ship, as it were. The bad news is the Diamondbacks have only 3 hits against Jorge De La Rosa. Hey fans, now is the time. Tweet us your strongest fan photo. Don't forget to use the hashtag AZDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag AZDataStrongFan for your photo. So here's Tulo to lead off the 6th. Tulo's home run back in the first inning extended his hitting streak. It's now at 18 games. He's hit safely in 30 of his last 31. Right by Goldie and into right, a base hit for Tulowitzki. Leadoff man aboard.
It looked like Tulo was intentionally looking for a pitch he could drive that way. Got a fastball up and out over the plate on a 2-0 count. Normally Tulo's looking to hit the ball in the seats on a 2-0 count, but with the shift on, he just guided that ball through the right side for an easy leadoff hit.
Carlos Gonzalez now 1 for 2. He singled and scored a run in the first. Diamondbacks put the shift on. Rockies bullpen. It's like a Pilates class down there. And Troy Hawkins just making fun of guys.
He's been pitching for 67 years. He never picked up a rubber band in his life. You guys are crazy. Pick up the ball and throw it.
I'm not doing that. Look at Oberg is just wearing it right there. I would listen to him. He's pitched in the big leagues for 50 years.
Yes, he has.
Gargo goes the other way. It backs up Peralta at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Carlos Gonzalez, his 11th, and it's 6-1 Rockies. Well, Ruby, after giving up 6 straight hits to lead off the ball game, then retiring the next 14 Rockies, has reverted to his first inning form.
And both Tulowitzki and Cargo going to the plate looking for something out over the dish to drive the other way. Tulo a base hit through the right side. Carlos Gonzalez a home run into the second row out there in left field.
Quick glove hand out there. Michael McHenry. Diamondbacks have not swept a 4-game series at home since September of 2008. That was against the Giants. Looking for the 4-game sweep of the Rockies here, but now they're down 6-1. The 14 in a row set down by Ruby was a career high, but not much of a consolation prize here. Three and one on Michael McHenry. Ball four. First walk issued by Ruby De La Rosa. Here comes Wellington Castillo. Diamondback bullpen is busy. Day off tomorrow. We're on an airplane right after this ball game. Well, some of us are. I won't mention any names. Off day tomorrow, and then 2 against the Rangers. Starting on Tuesday from Globe Life Central Park, or whatever they call it now. Robbie Ray and Yvonne Gallardo on Tuesday. Jeremy Hellickson, Matt Harrison on Wednesday. Gonzo will be stepping in for Bob Brenly, who is stepping out.
I'm actually getting on a plane right after the game as well. I'm just going a different direction.
I've got granddad duty.
I got granddad duty coming up.
Well, Chip Hale has got to attend to his duties, and that's removing his starting pitcher who just had an off day here. Ruby De La Rosa. It's up 6 runs on 8 hits, including a pair of homers. He's responsible for 1 base runner. Maybe Chip buying some time here for Oliver Perez in the bullpen. And that's going to be it for Ruby. Diamondbacks trail at 6-1. Back after this. The sidewinder, the left-hander Oliver Perez. He can come at you, well, with the full El Tiante, the quick pitch, the whole thing. He's on here in the 6th. A variety of looks from the veteran left-hander.
Yeah, with his wardrobe as well. Got the pants down right on his shoe tops today. Normally we see a lot of red sock from Oliver Perez. See his numbers on the season, pitching in his 35th ball game.
Yeah, we can't have these relievers changing their socks, because it's the only way that we up here can recognize who's throwing down there. The way the bullpen is built, we don't see any of their heads, just their feet. Unless they don't want to put on Diamondback fun socks. That's a different story. Those are coming up soon. Ben Paulson, an RBI single in the 1st. He's 1 for 2.
Nobody warming up behind Oliver Perez, which would indicate this might be one of those situations where you try to get a little more than 1 inning out of Oliver Perez.
And as we mentioned a moment ago, there is an off day tomorrow. In fact, there are 2 off days this week. Diamondbacks off tomorrow. 2 games in Texas. Thursday's an off day. And then 3 against the Mets at Citi Field over the weekend, Friday through Sunday. And then the All-Star break. Robbie Ray on Tuesday against Giovanni Gallardo. First of 2 at Texas against the Rangers. As we take a look at the upcoming road trip, Let's Go Places, brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. There you go, 2 against the Rangers. Gonzo filling in for Bob Brenly. Gonzo checked in yesterday, wanted to make sure what to pack.
Judging from his last trip to Texas, I would suggest an umbrella.
It was a disaster. That was the game that the tarp almost blew out of the stadium, because we had one of those Texas thunderstorms roll in. And I tell you, that tarp was 60 feet in the air. And there were about 100 guys underneath with their arms raised over their heads, chasing after it. And they get some weather down there. There's a strikeout of Paulson. That's the first out in the 6th. And of course, so you take a couple of days off. Gonzo flies down there. We make him take us all out to dinner. Cost him, I don't know, $1,500, whatever it was. There was like 10 of us. The whole TV crew. And then the next day the game is rained out, and then we leave. He never did do the game. There with Roland Heyman. I think Gonzo's going to leave the credit card here for when he goes to Texas.
Idea.
Yeah. Brandon Barnes there with his son Jacob, who's a terrific ball player.
I'm sure you'll have Chamber of Commerce weather this time in Arlington.
Fingers crossed.
Confidence is high.
In the words of Ralph Kelso. Broken bat bloop, and it drops in front of Peralta. A base hit for Barnes. Well, we might as well check in. He's becoming an internet sensation. He was on MLB.com last night. It's time for the Ralph Kelso spot-on weather forecast, a staple of any homestand. Ralphie, do you have anything for us for Texas this week?
No.
Ralph Kelso, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much. Ralph is restricted to local forecasts.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we had Cantori up there on the last homestand, he's not ready to go national just yet.
Yeah, Ralphie is real good about predicting the weather in like a 2-square block area right here. Outside the neighborhood, forget it, right, Ralph?
That's right.
Ralph,
it's local weather.
Will you guarantee a Team USA win tonight for the women's soccer?
Yeah. Well, my wife is Japanese.
So the answer is no?
Oh, no. I'm going with Team USA all the way. That's right. I could better be careful.
You realize, Ralph, when they talk in your ear that the audience can't hear you. Ralph Kelso. Daniel Descalso now. Ralph is, I tell you, Bob, Ralph is blowing up. He needs a PR guy.
I'm telling you, he's going to have
I do.
He's going to have to hire some people.
One of those, what do they call them? PR flacks? Hacks? Swing and a miss at Descalso.
Tailing fastball that time. Wellington wants it away, throws it back to the inside part of the plate. That one kind of chased Descalso right out of there. Tailing action on that fastball inside.
Descalso just 2 for his last 26 up there. That's in the 6. This one's in the seats as well and out of play.
about that full Tiante delivery that Oliver Perez will eventually break out on a hitter. It freezes that runner at second base as well. Trying to shorten up that lead by McHenry a little bit out there at second base. In the event the ball's hit to the outfield, you want to give guys a chance to throw him out at home plate, and that Louis Tiant spin move usually freezes that runner at second base.
Straight to the plate that time, and he strikes him out. Second strikeout for Ollie, 2 down. And Jorge De La Rosa will hit here with 2 outs in the 6th.
Pitcher Jorge De La Rosa.
Good breaking ball from Oliver Perez right there, and that was basically set up by those fastballs inside earlier in the count. Made Daniel Descalso really aware that he had to be quick on fastballs in, and then just waves at the slider away.
I wouldn't imagine hitting is doing that finger any favors on Jorge De La Rosa, that middle finger on his left hand.
I think this speaks to the lack of confidence that Walt Weiss has in his bullpen. He got a whole bunch of right-handed bats and good right-handed bats available off the bench. Diamondbacks don't have anybody warming up in the bullpen, so if he did send a right-handed pinch hitter up there, he was going to get a matchup against a left-handed pitcher. But instead, he's going to roll with his starter here, let him take the at-bat, and go back out to start the next half inning. I mean, if you're the Diamondbacks, even trailing by 5 runs in the ballgame, your goal right now is to get De La Rosa out of this ballgame and get into that Rockies bullpen. Dead last in the majors in ERA.
We'll go back to the series opener. Remember, the Diamondbacks against the Rockies bullpen got 3 in the 6th and 4 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Diamondbacks in that ballgame were down 1-0 and won it 8-1. So the Colorado Relief Corps hardly invincible here. Still 0-2. Got him. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Oliver Perez. 6-1 Rockies. Is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One. Great taste, no face, available at local retailers. Home in Arizona. Not much home field advantage for the Diamondbacks this afternoon. They trail the Rockies 6-1. And so far, Jorge De La Rosa has given up just 3 hits. He's out there to start the bottom of the 6th against the top of the Diamondback order, Nick Ahmed, A.J. Pollock, and Paul Goldschmidt. The numbers on De La Rosa so far, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk. Bob Brenly wing of Chase Field.
Beautiful thing.
Nick Ahmed singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. That's the area that Baxter was just throwing T-shirts into the crowd. And I noticed you were leaning over the railing here trying to get one.
Yeah, I challenged Baxter to see if he could throw one up here to our perch in the broadcast booth, and he's tried it the last 2 days, but he's going to have to play a little long toss while we're on the road trip and stretch that arm out just a little bit more.
He's no Tommy Brady. Then again, who is? It's only one Tommy. I know your guy, the Parrot in Pittsburgh, is your favorite because he's got that T-shirt howitzer.
Yeah, he's got that air cannon. He can shoot them all the way up to the press box.
That thing goes up about 4 stories.
Oh, he's actually shot him right over the roof of PNC Park out into the parking lot before. He's not real accurate, but he can shoot him a long way.
The Pirate Parrot at PNC Park. Now, if we could just get him to do that with a hot dog gun, we'd have something going.
I think they had some issues. I'm not sure if it was Pittsburgh or one of the other ballparks where they used that gun to shoot hot dogs into the stands, and one of the hot dogs actually got annihilated, and little bits of hot dog and bun got scattered all over an entire section of fans. So I don't know if they shoot a lot of edibles out of those cannons anymore.
You don't want to unmake the sausages. Ahmed blasts one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It's off the wall. Nick Ahmed going to stop at second. He's in there with his 8th double. And Nick is 2 for 3. That was smoked.
Oh, it's down over the heart of the plate. He really hit that ball hard. You see the umpires rotating around and signaling to each other.
And again, we're working with a 3-man crew here. Crew chief and plate umpire Fielden Culbreth had to leave in the bottom of the 2nd. It was actually a foul tip off the bat of Nick Ahmed in the bottom of the 1st that got Culbreth, and an inning later he had to leave. So a 3-man crew. Jim Reynolds back behind the plate. Here's A.J. Pollock, who's 0 for 2.
It's about time for the D-backs offense to wake up against De La Rosa. In this homestand, they have a 4-2 record. They've hit nearly 320 as a team. They've had double digits in hits all 6 games of the homestand. On base percentage of nearly 400, slugging percentage of nearly 500, and we've had tacos 3 of the last 6 days.
Time to eat.
Time to get fat. Nice part of the lineup up there.
Diamondbacks have won 8 of 11 against the Rockies this year, 5 of 6 at Chase Field, and going for the 4-game sweep, but they're down 6-1.
Fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 20 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Troy Hawkins starting to get loose in the Colorado bullpen. De La Rosa creeping up on 80 pitches. What does the Fox say?
Good form. I don't think your helmet's going to help you much.
Well, it looks good. 2-1. I think that's a Baxter hat. I don't know. They sold those. That's a good looking item. Got the foam finger, everything.
And everything but her 2 front teeth.
We're number 1. Two and 2. Paul Schreiber, the umpire, along with Manny Gonzalez on the bases. Jim Reynolds behind the plate. Descalso, the backhander, long throw is right there, and look at Ahmed sneaking extra base. As soon as he saw Descalso rifle that throw over there, he took off for third.
If you're going to get Nick Ahmed right there at third base, that's going to be 2 long, accurate throws. Descalso way behind the bag at third as he throws across the diamond, and by the time Paulson got the ball at first, he had no chance to get Nick Ahmed back across the diamond at third.
1 out for Goldie now. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out twice so far against Jorge De La Rosa. Goldie last home run June 24th against the Rockies at Coors Field. That was 10 games ago. Just under 50 plate appearances.
Knowing Goldie the way we do, that hasn't even crossed his mind. He probably wouldn't even know if you ask him, when was the last time you homered?
I'm sure. Lays off the 2-1, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Later today, the All-Star Game starters will be announced. Hopefully Paul Goldschmidt is there. At the Midsummer Classic in Cincinnati, July 14th, only on Fox. Pitchers and the rest of the players will be named later this week. 3-1. Ball 4. Second walk for Jorge De La Rosa. Talking about that finger, perhaps.
I notice he's talking to the trainer, not the pitching coach. Pitching coach on his way out to the mound right now.
Go downstairs to Jody.
Well, guys, talking about Paul Goldschmidt, who hopefully later today will be announced as an all-star starter. But once again, revisiting the topic of the home run derby today with a lot of the media. And he and A.J. Pollock were kind of reminiscing about the Double-A home run derby and talking about the fact that A.J. said, look, he hit a lot of line drives. And Goldie laughed, yeah, I didn't hit a ton of home runs. So I said, again, how does that work? Do you get asked at this point? He said there are some feelers that are thrown out there, but he's basically said, I'm not that interested. So to me, it kind of sounds like Paul throws up kind of that mini stop sign, like you may look for other candidates. Again, we've talked about it the last few years. He's just not that interested in doing the home run derby, it seems. Maybe because of the potential that it could alter his swing. But mainly, he said he doesn't look to hit home runs, guys.
Yeah, he is so routine oriented.
Yeah, not even in batting practice. I mean, it's standard operating procedure for most big league players that last round or two of batting practice, after you've worked on your hitting to the opposite field and hitting the ball up the middle and hit a few on the ground, hit a few in the air. And then that last round or two, you just try to see how far you can hit it. Not Goldie. Stays with the protocol, stays with the program.
As Monty Tomas homered back in the second. Broken bat, bloke, get down ball. How about Brandon Barnes making a running diving catch? Ahmed tags and scores, and it's 6-2. We got a 3-man umpiring crew out there, only 2 on the bases, so they rotate over. And they rule that's a catch by Brandon Barnes. Here's a look.
Yeah, Barnes is probably the only outfielder on this Rockies roster that makes that play. He's got great speed, took a good line to that ball, makes the diving catch coming straight in as he rolls around. Nick Ahmed able to tag up and score. That looked like that was going to sit down.
So a 6-2 ball game. 2 outs, Goldie at first for Wellington Castillo. He has walked and struck out 0 for 1. What you're looking for, that one swing that's going to make this a 1-run game or a 2-run game. Rockies have had 2 home runs today. Tulo, a 3-run shot in the first. Cargo, a 2-run homer in the 6th. Tomas's homer to lead off the second, a solo shot. One more time out there to Barnes. Another long run. This one he won't get to. Goldie running all the way is at third.
Great jump on the Tomas floater out there in shallow left. Didn't get such a good jump on Wellington Castillo. It was a full swing, got jammed. Looked like Barnes froze for a couple of counts out there before breaking in. Can't get to the spot, and Goldie, as usual, running hard.
They're on the corners with 2 outs for Aaron Hill.
Job lately of staying back on breaking balls, really letting him get deep in the hitting zone and then putting a charge on him.
90 pitches for Jorge De La Rosa, 54 strikes. That one bit him. It's now 0-2.
He's limping on the back leg. Yeah, right above the right knee. Don't see that very often. Guys fouling a ball off their back leg. Matt Williams used to do it a lot, and I don't know why. Just something about Matty's swing, and especially breaking pitches on the inside part of the plate. Occasionally he'd just catch the top part of the ball and foul it off his own back leg. Matty did it more than anybody I ever saw.
A ball and 2 strikes. Aaron 1 for 7 in the series. Peralta would be next. He's doubled today. Two and 2. Came all the way from Winona, Minnesota. That's where Bert Blyleven does the Circle Berts.
Sorry, wish we had a circle.
We don't have the technology. But thanks for driving all the way from Minnesota.
Sure.
They got like 10,000 lakes out there.
That's what I've heard.
3-2.
They might have passed Brandon Webb on the freeway on their way here.
Well, if they did, he's really lost. Yeah, you're right. Take geography for 100, Alex. Goldie at third, Wellington Castillo at first. 2 outs, 3-2 to Aaron Hill. Here goes Welly. A roller to third, Descalso. Well, we have added some technology here in the truck, and there it is.
There you go.
There you are. Thanks for showing up. 6-2 as we go to the 7th. To you in part by Oregano's Pizza Bistro, your neighborhood pizza joint. We are athletic supporters. By Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. And by Yancey's Fancy, New York's finest artisan cheese. I wonder if they liked artisan cheese back in the day in Tombstone.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Wyatt Earp, you know, with his feet up on the railing, eating some artisan cheese.
Eat it fast, or it'll turn into artisan fondue.
There you go.
What are you looking at?
Earp. Wyatt Earp. Remember Henry Fonda and My Darling Clementine? Charlie Blackmon leads off the 7th against Oliver Perez. And he's 1 for 3. Uh-oh. This shootout went a little differently than the original one.
Nobody injured.
Right at the corral there. Paul Schreiber says, you betcha, 2-1. David Hernandez warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. David was throwing for a while last night, never did get in the ball game. Oliver Perez on in relief of Ruby De La Rosa, who had a rough day, despite the fact that at one point he retired 14 straight. 2-2.
We've talked a lot about the Diamondbacks' feast or famine offense this year, and that was the case for Ruby De La Rosa on the mound today. Not so pretty in the first, not very pretty in the 6th, but everything in between was outstanding.
The first 6 Rockies of the ball game reached with base hits against Ruby De La Rosa. It was 4-0 before he retired a batter. Blackman singled, LeMahieu singled, Tulowitzki a 3-run homer. 3 batters in, it was 3-zip. And Gonzalez singled, McHenry singled, Paulson an RBI single. 4-zip before he finally retired Brandon Barnes for the first out of the ballgame. And then retired the next 14 he faced. Until a Cargo homer in the 6th.
Oh, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Watch this ball come ricocheting off the backstop, and Ollie doesn't even want to bend over. He just puts his foot underneath the baseball, pops it up in the air. That's a trick that baseball players learn when you're out there every day shagging balls during BP. Just pop it up in the air and catch it.
It's got World Cup fever. The Women's World Cup final against Japan coming up on your local Fox station later today. David Hernandez coming in back after this.
The All-Star break every year. We like to give out grades. These says Bob's midseason grades, but I think we're kind of in agreement on most of these. The starters a C, even though they've been much improved lately. 46 non-quality starts gives them a C. The bullpen a C minus, although they've been much improved since Brad Ziegler's taken over that 9th inning.
DJ LeMahieu now drives this one to the corner. Long run for Tomas, but it's in the seats.
Of course, the offense we thought was going to be a strength of the team, and it's turned out to be a strength of the team. We give them an A minus, most runs in the National League. The defense has been outstanding for the most part all year long. All the defensive metrics and the eyeball test would agree Diamondbacks have a great defense. We give them an A. The base running a B plus. They've gone first to third the most times in the major leagues, and stealing bases at a pace that only the Reds can top in the National League. So we give them a B plus for the base running, and overall a C plus with some room for improvement, but certainly a lot of optimism.
Nick Allman. David Hernandez on in relief of Oliver Perez, his 10th appearance this year. Well, Chip Hale said on our D-Backs podcast, which is up right now at dbacks.com and on iTunes, that he said, quite frankly, I thought the bullpen would be better. He was pretty honest with us, as he always is.
I think we all did. I thought that was going to be one of the strengths, along with the offense coming out of spring training.
Troy Tulowitzki.
And they have gotten a lot better, as I said, since Brad Ziegler's moved into that 9th inning role as the closer. That's been about 48 games ago. The ERA almost a run and a half lower. Brad got 18 saves, or the team has 18 saves over that stretch.
And of course, they've missed Evan Marshall, who was such a big part of that bullpen last year for a good 5 months of the season, but he's down in Reno right now and having his issues.
You do get Hernandez back off the Tommy John. Andrew Chafer, the left-hander's been terrific back there, warming up with the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Andrews really worked out well. Converted starter. Now with a 3-1 count, they'll overshift on the left-hand side. Owens on the shortstop side of second. And he hits it right into the shift, right at Ahmed. It backs him up, long throw. And that's the inning. Stretch time at Chase Field. Diamondbacks trail at 6-2. Look back at the players who've been enshrined into the Legends race, featuring Gonzo's beginnings, Mark Grace's return, Matt Williams' dig me room, and Randy Johnson's perfect getaway. It's the 10th inning Legends race presented by Century. Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Arizona. When is Gracie going to get to win one?
He's too easily distracted. You know, he's had the lead many, many times, but somebody in the visiting dugout or somebody behind home plate or one of the security guards or one of the players on the field will get his attention and he ends up losing the race.
LaTroy Hawkins, the veteran, in from the Rocky bullpen, and if the Diamondbacks are going to get back in this ball game, down 6-2 in the 7th, they need to do it now. This is their opportunity. The Rockies relievers have a collective 4.77 ERA. That's the worst in the major leagues. It's Arizona Diamondbacks baseball, presented by Sanderson Ford. For our service men and women everywhere, this one's for you. I have noticed that as Randy Johnson's Hall of Fame enshrinement gets closer, he seems to win a lot of Legends races. I'm not sure if there's a correlation or not, but
in the Legends race, getting himself in shape for Cooperstown.
That's where the 51 will be put up. What a day that's going to be here at Chase Field. August 8th, Randy Johnson's number 51 retirement ceremony. First 50,000 fans get a Randy Johnson commemorative t-shirt brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. David Peralta, who doubled in the second, leads it off. I wonder if we can arrange on our trip to D.C. a match race. Gracie versus Teddy Roosevelt, who finally did win. He got to win last year, I think it was. And then they had to add another president. Taft is in there now. But, you know, Taft is not a great athlete by any stretch. So, you know, maybe like a Seabiscuit, we could get a match race going.
Gracie's character is a lot like he was as a player, had deceptive speed. He's a lot slower than he looks.
0-2.
Those mascots in D.C., though, they play for keeps, man. They're knocking each other down.
It's like WWE.
Yeah.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? 1-2. Quick pitch that time, and it's in there for strike 3. Here's your patented BB LaTroy Hawkins quick pitch.
We talked about it the other night when Hawkins came into the ballgame. He'll do this a couple of times every relief appearance, just come right up into that throwing position. He never comes to a complete set. And a lot of times he'll throw a changeup out of that quick pitch delivery, trying to get the batter to jump at the delivery and then throw an off-speed pitch out of it.
Chris Owings 0 for 2. Pitcher spot is due up next. Cliff Pennington in the on-deck circle. Tell you who made the play on that one in the dugout, America's first baseman. Watch this play by Goldie.
Saltalamacchia right there to back it up. Just instinct. Ball comes close to him, he's going to catch it.
He's locked on to LaTroy Hawkins.
Diamondbacks still trying to figure him out in his last 16 appearances plus today against the Diamondbacks. He hasn't given up a run, struck out 15 and walked only 1 in 15 2/3 innings.
Another quick pitch that time to Owings. And now watching, got a new baseball. You know what that means. Got to get to work on that thing.
You can either drag your nails in the opposite direction that the seams are laying on the baseball to try to pop them up a little bit that way, or you can push down with your nail on the white part of the horsehide right next to the seams and try to raise them up a little bit.
0-2. 2 up, 2 down for Hawkins, and now Pennington will hit for David Hernandez.
Hitting for David Hernandez, number 4, Cliff Pennington.
Well, Cliff Pennington, the bat has come alive. He's at 237 now with 8 RBIs. 3 hits and 5 at bats in the series, not to mention the walk-off sacrifice fly RBI in the 10th on Friday. He is 11 for his last 23 at the plate. Need some base runners here. And Cliff in his last 10 games as a pinch hitter, 5 for 9 with a walk.
A lot of his outs have been hit hard too. Penny just Has that ability to play infrequently, but still give you a good at bat coming off the bench as a pinch hitter.
And we saw on our show last week when Wellington Castillo was wearing a microphone for us in the dugout. Well, he was asking Cliff Pennington, "Wait, pinch hitting, how do you do it? What's the secret?" And Penny said, "Just close your eyes and swing." Puts this in the air out to left. It's Barnes. Hawkins works a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 8th at 6-2 Colorado. That was the Cox Gigalife high-speed highlights. Most of them Rocky related. 6-2 Colorado, and Andrew Chafin is on to work the 8th.
Two of the first 3 hitters left-handed batters in this inning. He'll face Carlos Gonzalez, a lefty, to lead it off, followed by Michael McHenry, and then Ben Paulson, the first baseman, also a left-handed hitter.
The first 6 Rockies batters had base hits today against Ruby De La Rosa, who was down 4-0 before he recorded an out. And once he did, he retired 14 straight. But then a Tulowitzki single to lead off the 6th, the Cargo homer. And the Rockies were off and running. Up 6-1. Diamondbacks got one back in the bottom of the 6th. Though here we are in the 8th. 6-2, and Cargo leads it off. A 2-run home run his last time up. He hits it right through the shift.
Catcher Michael McHenry.
Well, Bob, I don't know if you saw the big news around the ballpark today. I know you got your ear to the ground, but there was a major seismic shift in Todd Walsh and his mascot relations.
Really?
Yeah, he broke up with Dinger and made up with Baxter. Because as you'll recall, when we were in Colorado, Todd was hanging out with Dinger, glad handing him. And Baxter saw that, got a little upset, so they hugged it out, and all is well. So Todd has really helped us with the Dump Dinger campaign. which we may be ready to launch officially. Michael McHenry.
We haven't launched it already.
How could you tell? McHenry shoots it down the right field line. That's a foul ball. Now, Todd, what was it? Guilt? What made you change your ways?
Just wanted to be a team guy, and I just wanted to make sure you knew that I had your back, Steve and Bob, and all of my electoral votes now go to the home team mascot.
Have you heard from Dinger? How's he taking a breakup?
I have not gone there yet. As fate would have it, Jody Jackson is actually on that last trip to Denver, so she'll have to pick up the pieces.
Oh, I see. Pretty convenient.
Yeah, we thought about that, my staff and I.
So basically, you just send a breakup text and then you don't show up anymore.
Exactly. 2015, baby.
That's right. It's not you, it's me.
That's right.
Well, we're glad to have you back in the fold. And I'm sure Baxter's happy.
Well, we'll get a photo op with you guys, and I'm on your platform now.
Well, I can't wait to, bring this up to Dinger when we go back there in September.
Sure you can.
Make him feel bad.
If we see him.
If we ever see him.
If you bump into him, yeah.
I mean, the Rockies are going to have to be leading a game late to even see Dinger, since he's, the biggest front runner there is.
These things don't sound so bad now that I'm on your side.
See?
Yeah.
I knew you'd come around.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets through Castillo. And Gonzalez moves up. Now, this was Todd on our last trip to Coors Field, and you can see how upsetting this video is.
Oh.
I mean, this is just, it's horrible.
I can't watch. My people, we cut a deal that this would never see the light of day.
Well, just in the interest of full disclosure.
I understand, but a deal is a deal.
Look at Dinger. He's so happy.
Yeah.
Todd, what was the initial attraction to Dinger?
Purple. I like Donny Osmond. I like purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
3-2 on McHenry. Is there a hockey team that has purple? I mean, the LA Kings used to.
Yeah.
Back in the Marcel Dion days.
Mm-hmm. I was a Charlie Simmer guy. Worked with Charlie on the Triple Crown line.
Former Bruins great, Charlie Simmer.
Yeah. Like I said, I love purple.
Yeah, that fits.
It's the altitude, guys. It'll make you do things you'd never do when you think about it.
Well, I imagine it's pretty easy to break things off with a mascot, because they can't say anything back to you.
No, it's the best part. It's the best relationship. That's why I said I'm a man of the mascot.
I mean, there's no tears. There's no, I need to know why. Help me understand. None of that stuff.
No. Permagrin. It's the same look.
We're done, and that's it. You walk away.
It's not you, it's me.
And Paulson pops up the bunt over the head of Chafin. It drops in behind the mound, and what a play by Nick Ahmed to pounce on that one. The runners move up, and Ahmed gets the out at first. Chafin charged the bunt, and it went right over his head.
That bunt was so bad it was good. Reminds me of Ben Davis. Nice play by Nick Ahmed to come in bare hand and fire. He just gets rid of that ball so quickly. Most infielders would have to take an extra step to find a grip on the ball. Nick just grabs it and lets it go.
And score that, a sacrifice 6-3. So Carr goes at third, McHenry at second. One away for Brandon Barnes. He singled his last time up, 1 for 3. And with first base open, they're going to try to set up the double play ball and work to Descalso.
And once again, this time the Diamondbacks have a righty throwing in the bullpen. I mentioned earlier that Walt Weiss has all right-handed bats available off the bench today. Could possibly be a spot where you could see him drop a right-handed hitter in there for Daniel Descalso. And with that in mind, Josh Colementor throwing in the Diamondbacks bullpen.
Descalso only 2 for his last 27 at the plate. So he's really struggling these days. And there's the free pass to Barnes to load him up with 1 out.
I think Walt's just going to let him roll with a lead in the ball game, a 4-run lead.
Third baseman Daniel
He's going to let Daniel Descalso go ahead and take this at bat, try to give Nolan Arenado a complete day off. You see Willeen Rosario making his way into the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher spot.
So they're loaded up, 1 away. And Chafin will work to Daniel Descalso. Gonzalez is at third, McHenry at second, and Barnes at first. Descalso 0 for 3.
Watch the first pitch. Descalso very aggressive with runners in scoring position or coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. Either one of those situations, he's likely to attack that first strike he sees.
Making just his 21st start of the year. Started the series opener Thursday at second base. He's in there at third today. Two and one. Josh Clemente continuing to warm up in the Diamondback bullpen. Off day tomorrow. Back with you on Fox Sports Arizona Tuesday from Arlington, Texas. First of two against the Rangers. Nolan Arenado with a bat and a helmet on in the Rocky dugout. Pitcher spot is up next. Wilin Rosario is in the on-deck circle. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's full 3-2.
Throughout this series, Descalso's had trouble catching up to good fastballs, especially in those 2 strike counts. Very defensive swing, letting the ball get deep in the zone and fouling it off to the third base side. We've seen him do that repeatedly throughout this series.
Ahmed takes a tumble, though, as Barnes comes in hard at second. Ahmed is okay. And that's the end of the inning. Diamondback shortstop with a tough turn at second base right here off the shovel pass from Owings. Bottom 8 coming up.
Standard practice, of course. Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show from right here on our pre- and post-game set. That's where it all starts. Jody Jackson inside the Diamondbacks clubhouse. We'll hear from skipper Chip Hale, as well as you, Bob Brenly, as you look back on the day that was, I think, for Ruby De La Rosa, and some interesting comments. Hopefully we'll get to from Chip Hale pregame today on what we believe will be his all-star first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, how he goes about his everyday job and how it affects his team around him. That's all coming up right after the final out. D-backs Live here on Fox Sports Arizona. Steve, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Todd. This is the chance for the Diamondbacks here. Bottom 8 running out of time, down 6-2. The right-hander Scott Oberg is on for the Rockies. He's had a rough series here. His 33rd appearance of the season, the ERA just over 5.5. He gave up 4 runs all earned, walked 2 and 3 hits in 1/3 of an inning in Thursday's opener, and then pitched on Friday, worked 1 inning, gave up a base hit and 2 walks. And Nick Ahmed will lead off the 8th. Nick has a single, a double. He has scored a run, 2 for 3, and looks to be okay after taking a tumble there to win the top half of the 8th inning.
Yeah, we talk about those middle infielders all the time. Really, your goal is to get your feet out of the ground, get your cleats out of the dirt, get up in the air. So if that runner does happen to hit you, your legs aren't locked into the turf. So Nick was able to accomplish that. But Barnes just got a piece of him, flipped him off balance, and landed awkwardly on that right arm. Now he got up quickly and ran off the field, and taking his at bat right here with no ill effects. But boy, that was a dangerous looking fall out there at second base.
It's got to be tricky for Nick too, because he's got such long arms and legs. He's a lanky guy out there. Barnes came in hard but clean. Need some base runners here, and Ahmed's ahead, 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, regardless of the outcome today, you really have to commend both these teams for the way they've played the game this year. You haven't seen any headhunting, you haven't seen any cheap shots. Both teams playing clean and hard. Some takeout slides at second base, and both teams agree that everything that was done was legal and fair and clean. So no retaliation, no shenanigans, just play good, clean, hard baseball.
Drives it to right center. Blackman on the run. He tracks it down. Nick Ahmed gave that a ride the other way, but it's out number 1. Fans, now's the time to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag AZDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming Diamondback TV broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Getting some life coaching out there in the RandPrucks.com pool area. A.J. Pollock. A.J. 0 for 3. Rockies have the shift on. LeMahieu on the shortstop side of second. Tulowitzki in the middle. Descalso at third. And Ben Paulson all by himself over near first. And he laces it over the head of the Rockies first baseman. It's in the corner. Gonzalez over to cut it off. AJ is in at second. His 17th double. That's his 7th hit in this series.
A.J. Pollock surging once again, and it's coincided with his willingness to drive that ball to the opposite field. A lot of his hits recently have come to right field, right center, down the line in right, taking advantage of what pitchers are trying to do to him.
He's aboard with 1 out for Goldie, who has struck out twice and walked today, 0 for 2. Rally caps in place.
Jim Reynolds likes that high strike.
Sure does.
Wow.
Stopped Goldie in his tracks that time. Jim Reynolds had the plate in one of the World Series games last October. So he's been back there in big spots before. Three-man umpiring crew after Field and Culbreth had to leave the game in the second inning. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Looked like a good slide right in the middle of the plate at the bottom of the zone.
Yep. Reaches down and drives it to right center. AJ's going to score here to make it a 6-3 ball game. It rolls all the way to the wall, and Goldie rolls into second with his 19th double.
Right back to the same pitch. He got the called strike on the pitch before, and maybe even a little bit lower this time. And Goldie goes down and digs it out, drives that ball into the gap in right center.
Here comes Steve Foster, the pitching coach. Back-to-back one-out doubles for the Diamondbacks. Yasmani Tomas, who homered back in the second, coming up. And it's conference time. Rockies bullpen is busy. How hard is it to manage an entire season with, let's be frank, a bad bullpen?
Certainly doesn't make it easy. I mean, like in this situation, you'd like to think you can bring Scott Oberg into the game and get a clean inning out of him so you don't have anybody warming up in the bullpen. And he gets one quick out, you're feeling pretty good about it. All of a sudden he gives up back-to-back doubles. Diamondbacks getting a little momentum on their side of the field. So now you have to send your pitching coach out there to talk to Oberg so you can have enough time to get the bullpen up and going. I mean, you don't want to have to get two pitchers up behind every reliever you bring into the ball game.
Wear him out by the All-Star break. Yasmani Tomas. Tomas had a solo homer in the second, his 5th of the year. Drove in a run in the 6th with a sac fly. He's got 5 RBIs in the series. This was Yasmani to lead off the second against Jorge De La Rosa.
Some of that opposite field power we talked about back at Salt River Fields in spring training. We've seen some power to left field recently, but that's the one we've been waiting for. That drive to right center that leads the park.
Easy power. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Goldie's going to score here. It's an RBI single for Yasmani Tomas, and hold on, it's a 6-4 ball game. Tomas has got 3 RBIs.
Once again, takes an inside pitch about belt high and just slashes it down that right field line.
And the Diamondbacks, with 1 out in the 8th, get the tying run to the plate. Wellington Castillo. Single his last time up, walked in the second. Here comes Walt Weiss to go get Oberg.
Oberg will be glad to get out of the desert, I'll tell you that. In an inning and 2/3 in this series, he's given up 7 hits and 4 walks.
Yeah, it's been a long 4 days for him. Diamondbacks have a threat going, tying run at the plate. Back after this. July 18th, get your A.J. Pollock Star Wars Jedi bobblehead, courtesy of Cox Communications. Get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Diamondbacks have a threat going here in the 8th. They've trailed all afternoon long, right from the get-go. But the tying runs at the plate, bottom 8, 1 out. The new pitcher for the Rockies. We saw him last night, Tommy Kahnle. He had a rough outing. Gave up 3 hits in 2/3 of an inning, his 16th appearance this year. Nick Ahmed flied out to open up the inning. He drove one to right center that Blackman ran down at the track. Pollock doubled, Goldie doubled, Tomas has singled. 2 runs in, 6-4. Tomas at first, Castillo up there. Tying run at the plate, 1 down. He's 1 for 2. Henry corrals that one. It's a ball and no strikes.
That's just a lucky stab there by Michael McHenry. 96 miles per hour, about 8 inches off the outside corner in the dirt. No catcher in the world has time to shift your weight over and get in good blocking position. So McHenry just stuck the glove out there as best he could and knocked that one down.
There's a strike, 1-1. Castillo, this is the guy you want up in this situation. 10 RBIs in his last 14 games. 5 doubles and 3 homers. There's that high strike call again from Jim Reynolds. 1-2.
A couple of high changeups to run the count to 1-2. They're actually hangers, but Wellington Castillo is so geared for fastball, he can't do anything but take that waist high changeup for a strike.
He's having a chat with Reynolds back there.
Throw it up there one more time.
Got him.
A nasty one that time. 2 changeups up in the zone for called strikes, and then this one that starts on the outside corner and just bottoms out. Castillo right over the top.
Well, the Rockies getting the opportunity to expand that strike zone north and south, and they're taking advantage. 2 down for Aaron Hill, who's 0 for 3. Strike 1. Aaron 1 for 8 in the series and a 2-run double Thursday.
A lot of changeups from Tommy Kahnle today.
Todd Walsh will have Diamondback Live post-game show right after our ball game here on Fox Sports Arizona. Day off tomorrow. Diamondbacks in Dallas for the Rangers on Tuesday. Misses inside, 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Well, you'd love to see a chance for David Peralta here. He's on deck. The way he has swung the bat against the Rockies in this series. It's a big opportunity for the Diamondbacks right there if Aaron can get aboard. Ball 4. Tying runs on base. Go ahead run at the plate, and here comes Peralta. Walt Weiss going to give him the chance to face the right-hander. Let's see. Nope.
It may have bothered David earlier this season to bring in a lefty out of the bullpen to face him, but not so much lately.
He's already doubled against one left-hander today. Diamondbacks have a threat here in the 8th. Back in a moment. And in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, a pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply, so visit MLB.TV for all the details. Some drama here in the 8th at Chase Field. 2 on, 2 out. The go-ahead run is at the plate. It's David Peralta, and on to face him, the left-hander Boone Logan.
34th game of the season for Boone Logan. Big arm left-hander. Lots of strikeouts, lots of walks.
Well, Peralta who couldn't hit lefties last year, under 200 for the season, has come alive against left-handers lately. He doubled against the lefty Jorge De La Rosa back in the second. He is 9 for his last 22 up there against left-hand pitchers, including 4 extra base hits. So Moss at second, Aaron Hill at first. David is 5 for 15 in this series. 2 doubles, a triple, and 3 RBIs. He's also walked twice. Out in front of that one, 1-1.
Big slow breaking ball this time from Boone Logan, sweeping across the plate to that outside corner. It's the first time in a long time we've seen David jump out at a delivery from a left-handed pitcher.
He's down a ball and 2 strikes. Bonnie Tomas at second. Aaron Hill the tying run at first. Peralta the go-ahead run at the plate. 2 outs, 1 and 2. Got him. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 2. We go to the 9th. It's a 6-4 Colorado lead. Trailing the Rockies 6-4. The new pitcher, the veteran Josh Colmenter, his 17th appearance of the year, a 4.95 ERA. He'll open up the inning by working to Willeen Rosario, who will hit for the pitcher, Boone Logan. And Josh's fan club out there in the RamTrucks.com pool area. Changes behind him. It's a double switch by the Diamondbacks. Jake Lamb will take over at third base, replacing Aaron Hill. Hill hit 9th, pitcher spot now 6th in the Arizona order.
Well, we talked a lot recently about the shutdown inning. After your team puts some runs on the board, put a quick 0 up there, get your team back to the plate as quickly as possible. This is what Josh needs to do right now. 3 quick outs, get your team back up to the plate.
Rosario, 296 and 5 homers. He was 0 for 4 last night. There's a strike, 0-1. Wellin Rosario, 5 games against the Diamondbacks this year, 8 hits, including 2 doubles and a homer. His 2-run double Friday night, his only hit in this series. Diamondbacks in the home half of the 9th inning will have Owings, Lamb, and Ahmed 8, 9, and 1. Pollock and Goldschmidt after that. Got to keep it a 6-4 ball game here. Reaches down and drives it to right center. Backs up A.J. Pollock, who runs it down. Right in front of the COL fan club out there.
We know A.J. has good speed, gets good jumps on the ball. He needed every bit of it on that one. That ball was really accelerating toward that gap in right center, but A.J. able to run it down. And the COL fan club loves it.
Including the guy in the red, white, and blue Speedo out there.
There was a guy out there?
He's doing all right. Charlie Blackmon 1 for 4. We caution you, some images may be disturbing. Blackmon led off the ball game with a single. He scored a run. First 6 Rockies had base hits against Ruby De La Rosa, who was down 4-0 before he retired a batter. And then retired 14 straight. Diamondbacks have trailed this ball game 4-0 and 6-1. They've been out hit by the Rockies 10-8. Blackmon shows bunt. That's a ball. 2-1. This one is launched out toward the pool area, and it's off the wall. Blackmon stops at second. His 15th double. That one just missed getting out of here.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
Well, that sounded and looked like a home run off the bat of Charlie Blackmon. Just kind of got out there and feathered in the gap in right center field. Pitched down and out over the plate. Hit very close to the top of the wall out there in right center, scattering the COL fan club. A.J. Pollock right there to back it up and hustle it back in, holding Blackmon to a double.
I mean, have you ever heard of a tanning bed at least? DJ LeMahieu.
They don't get a lot of sun in Homer, I guess. They get spoiled out here in Arizona.
Summer came and went already in Homer.
Apparently. Yeah, well, the bow tie helps. There's the strike. He's a Patriot. 1-1. This one is driven out to right field. He has Manny Tomas at the wall, and he's got it. Blackman tags up and heads for third. Well, the Rockies hitters in this inning hitting the ball hard out to right and right center. Our Arizona Federal Credit Union power player of the game is Troy Tulowitzki, a 3-run homer in the first, his 9th of the year. And for Tulo, that keeps his hitting streak alive. It's now up to 18 games. Two outs, Blackman at third. Manny Tomas into the fence. Seems like he's been doing that the whole series.
Not sure what the grimace was for. It didn't look like he did anything extraordinary up there against the fence out there in right field. Could be an accumulation of running into that fence throughout this series.
He's been Spider-Man down there. 1-1. Wellington Castillo wants to talk it over. Tulo, 4th in the league in hitting at 320 coming in. He's now at 322. A homer and a single, 2 for 4. Trying to strand that runner at third with 2 outs. Mike Harkey's going to join the party here.
Talking about inning management once again, you've got the dangerous Troy Tulowitzki up there with a home run to his credit already today, a single to go along with it, followed by Carlos Gonzalez, a very dangerous hitter with good numbers against Cole Mentor in his career. But following those two is Michael McHenry. Now, you certainly don't want to intentionally walk 2 guys to get to Michael McHenry, but with 2 bases open, you definitely want to be extremely careful with these 2 guys. If you do happen to lose both of them, you still have a chance to go after their backup catcher with 2 outs in the inning.
He does have both Arenado and Nick Hundley on his bench down there. 1-1 to Tulo.
Tulo gets a lot of balls called on inside pitches when he jumps back the way he did on that last delivery. It wasn't even close to him, but he takes his hands off the bat, leans back.
He seems to do that a lot. Coming inside again here.
Like that.
Yep. Anything on the inner half. 2 pitches ago. I mean, that's not anywhere near him.
No.
Two outs, Blackman at third, 3 balls and a strike.
Inside again with that 86-mile-an-hour heater right on the corner at the knees.
That's in the strike zone, and he's raising his arms backward. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cole Mentor fan club on their feet out in the pool area. Let's get that chant going. Now one guy can't clap on the right there. He's got a beverage. Popped him up. Josh wants it, and he's got it. They strand Blackmon at third. And the Colmenter fan club, everybody in the pool. Bottom 9 coming up. At Coors Field, where John Axford came in to close it down, and the Diamondbacks lit him up. And he's on for the save here, his 26th appearance, an outstanding 2.38 ERA. He's, for the most part, done well against the D-backs, and on to close out this one against Owings, Lamb, and Ahmed. 8-9-1 due up.
That blown save you're talking about against the Diamondbacks came on June 24th, a year after his last blown save, which was also against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Well, Chris Owings will try to get it started here, down 6-4. CO today 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. 5 for 13 in the series, a couple of walks. And you're looking for base runners here. Contact has been an issue lately for Chris. 13 strikeouts in his last 25 at bats. There you go, a career ERA just under 6 against the Diamondbacks. Longtime Brewers closer. Owens jumping on the first pitch, 0-1. Axford has pitched scoreless baseball in 21 of his 25 outings this year. His last 15 appearances have been hitless. That was a stretch earlier this year. His 13 saves have him tied for 11th in the National League. You remember that marathon showdown he had with Goldie in that last series. About a 45 pitch at bat.
Had an intermission. Page right out of the Troy Hawkins playbook right there.
The quick pitch,
yeah.
Do that with 2 strikes. 2-2. Fly ball right field. Cargo near the right field line. One away. And we'll see Jake Lamb, his first at bat today. Jake 280 with a pair of homers. 3 for 11 in the series. Away from the shift, it's a bouncer. Descalso has it, but he's got no play, and Lamb's aboard. The tying run comes up to the plate. They overloaded the right-hand side, and he bounced one the other way.
Not sure if that was by design or if Jake Lamb just got rushed with a fastball there on the outside part of the plate. High bouncer to the left side. By the time Descalso gets there, he's got no chance to make the play. He's on a dead run into foul territory.
Nick Ahmed 2 for 4, a single in the third. He doubled and scored in the sixth. He's hit the ball hard today. Last time up, flying out to deep right center field. Base hit. Tying runs aboard, a winning run at the plate with a 1 out.
Trying to jump ahead with that first pitch fastball, and Nick Ahmed all over. Scalding line drive up the middle. Tulowitzki with a half-hearted dive didn't come close.
A.J. Pollock will be the hitter. Goldie behind him. Lamb the runner at second. Ahmed is the tying run at first. And here's A.J. Pollock. A.J. doubled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 4. There's a strike. Reaches down and shoots it out to right. Cargo is there and makes a catch. And Ahmed has to scramble back to the bag. A huge play there by the Rockies right fielder.
Well, if he doesn't come up with that, you're looking at a tie ball game with A.J. Pollock on at third base. Man, he closed ground quickly at the tail end of that play.
Well, once again, it's going to come down to a battle between John Axford and Paul Goldschmidt, who just a few minutes ago was announced formally as a starter for the National League All-Star team. Goldie headed to the All-Star game at Cincinnati.
That's appropriate.
He's the winning run at the plate with 2 outs. Lamb at second, Ahmed at first. Goldie an RBI double. He scored a run his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1. Only an All-Star now for the 3rd year in a row. 1-1. Diamondbacks have not swept a 4-game series here at home since September of 2008 against the Giants. He gets the call there from Jim Reynolds to Zaxford, and he's even at a ball and a strike. Time granted for Michael McHenry.
Trying to close out this homestand in dramatic fashion. America's first baseman on this Independence Day weekend. And these two are more than familiar with each other by now.
I wonder if McHenry and Axford are familiar with each other. Just made a trip to the mound and then shook him off as soon as he got back behind the plate.
A ball and a strike. That's out of play.
Fastball down over the heart of the plate, just a little tardy on that one.
McHenry hangs on. Goldschmidt strikes out, and the Rockies win the ball game 6-4. But the Diamondbacks take the series. They take 3 of 4 from Colorado. However, for the 12th time this year, they fall one step shy of climbing Mount 500.
Well, once again, fell behind in the ball game early, but there's just no quit in this team. The winning run at the plate there in the 9th inning with a chance for Goldie against John Axford, but snuck a fastball by him. He foul tipped it right into the mid of Michael McHenry.
The last pitch here. Wow. So the Rockies salvage the finale 6-4. Diamondbacks take 3 of 4. A day off tomorrow. It's off to Texas for 2 against the Rangers starting on Tuesday. We'll have both games for you here on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondback Live post-game show is underway. Here's Todd Walsh. Todd.
Steve, thank you very much. Here we go, folks. Our coverage of this game will begin in a matter of moments. I think if you had been told in the bottom of the first, down 4-0, that this would come down to the bottom of the 9th with Paul Goldschmidt at the plate, you would have taken it. So we'll break down what happened here today. And remember, the Diamondbacks did win 3 of 4 against these Colorado Rockies. Bob Brenly joins me in a bit. Jody Jackson is down inside the Arizona Diamondbacks clubhouse, and we will hear from all-star first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. His first comments is being selected as the starter for the 2nd consecutive year. We'll do all that when we come back to Chase Field on this late Sunday afternoon. Stick around.